Buenas tardes, chicos. This is a review for our quiz tomorrow on the doubt and denial verbs with subjunctive and regular present tense. The first thing you need to do is you need to make sure that you look on your weird study guide and you need to make sure that you're clear on which verbs use subjunctive and which use regular present tense or the indicative. Okay? If you're looking at your study guide, you'll notice that there's 3 columns, and the one on the left is titled Use Subjunctive. That means that if you see those verbs in the first part of your sentence, for example, dudar, or es imposible, or no es cierto, or quizás, that means that you're going to use subjunctive in the second part of your sentence because those verbs imply doubt. So for example, we could say something like, no es verdad que mi perro escape de mi casa. Okay? I have a verb here or an expression that expresses doubt, and therefore I'm going to use subjunctive in my second verb. Okay, if you're looking at your study guide, you'll see that the column on the right is titled Use Regular Present Tense, Indicative. That means that with the expressions or the verbs in that column, those don't imply doubt. So you're not going to use subjunctive in your sentence at all. Your second verb is just going to be regular present tense. For example, I could say, es verdad que mi perro escapa de mi casa. Okay? So now I have an expression that does not imply doubt because I'm saying it is true. If I'm saying something is true, I am not applying doubt to it. And therefore, instead of escape, which is present subjunctive, I'm using escapa, which is regular present tense. It's a small difference, but a very important one. The other thing I need to remember is that some of my phrases or my verbs are not going to change depending on whether I add no or take away no. So if I'm looking again at my weird study guide, I see that es imposible, es posible, puede ser, and quizás are always going to take subjunctive, whether they're in their positive versions or negative versions. For example, if I had something like es posible que Juan sepa la verdad, I need subjunctive right here as my second verb. I'm saying it is possible that Juan knows the truth. Okay? I can have the same sentence with the negative version of my first verb, and I will still need subjunctive in my second verb. No es posible que Juan sepa la verdad. So some of them don't change. It's important that you remember that. Another thing that I need to remember with my doubt expressions is that quizás does not require que. in the sentences. So that means you're going to have sentences that say things, for example, like quizás yo estudie hasta las 9. Maybe I'll study until 9. Okay? I don't have a K, but I still need subjunctive right here. Okay? If I'm not dealing with the verb quizás, I need to remember the same thing that I always have remembered whenever I'm dealing with subjunctive and noun clauses. Okay, so with the exception of quizás. Okay, if you don't have K, second verb goes into infinitive. For example, yo no creo saber la respuesta. That's it, chicos. Make sure you know how to conjugate in regular present tense. Make sure you know how to conjugate subjunctive. Make sure you know what the 11 doubt and denial verbs mean. And make sure you know how to change them so that they imply doubt and so that they don't imply doubt. Gracias.